I'm going to continue to drink coffee while we do this.
Absolutely.
Because I got to come around.
Yeah, yesterday we actually started off with coffee and tea with George Woodhouse.
Lovely.
And Krista, if you're still listening, or if you're awake, maybe you're not after 2 nights. She brought us down some banana bread too. She sat off to the side. So
God love her.
now, by coincidence, we ran into each other this morning. But Krista also asked me if I was going to have you on because she had run into you yesterday at some point. I'm assuming.
Yes, she is a lovely friend and fan.
What she wants us to talk about is Leona Burkey.
Yes.
So when you showed up yesterday on site, I can tell a little bit when some people are showing up because that's when the promo stuff starts showing up, and I love it. So I do a little. Well, you can see off to your side. I don't think anyone on camera can see. There's a plethora of stuff. That's not necessarily. Some of it's people dropped it off. Most of it's I grabbed stuff on the way through the hall, so I have a little bit of everything. We've got a couple posters in behind you there too of people showcasing today.
Yep.
And you yourself are playing today.
I am.
So maybe for anyone that's, I'm assuming that a good number of the people that happen to be catching the live stream or the post later when I re-upload it, they're probably people that are at the event right now.
Yeah.
So where and when can they go see you play?
I am in the host hotel at the Crown and Moose.
Okay.
Which is the cutest little spot, and it's at 9:45 tonight.
Awesome. And that's just off the lobby door for anyone that's
right.
not staying here. It's pretty easy to get in.
You just come in and hang a right.
Yep.
And I will be in the corner playing 30 minutes of my greatest hits.
And so last night, your promo stuff?
Yes.
The thing that you had the little folded paper boats.
I am the paper boat girl.
All right. Krista showed me a picture that you had because I'm not, despite putting a lot of content on social media this weekend, I have not had a chance to really look at much.
At anything yourself. I totally get that.
Yeah, the fan side of me is a little disappointed. I love being able to grab like these little physical pieces over here, but I do have a little fear of missing out, feeling like maybe I missed something this weekend. But I think I get all the cool people. You're going to have to agree with me now because you're here.
I think you've checked all the boxes, Darcy.
Yeah.
I think you have.
I'll just keep asking the people that are going to be agreeable so I have consensus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
It'd be
good.
awesome.
Paper boats. I have a new record coming out at the end of the month, and there is a beautiful track on it that I just shot a video for that involves the lovely, nostalgic, childlike thing that is floating paper boats down a brook. So I had paper boats on my mind, and then I thought, why not make some and put them all over Nova Scotia Music Week to make people wonder who is folding those weird paper boats.
Yeah, did you fold those all yourself?
Uh-huh. I am not an origami expert, but I can make a paper boat.
I can't make a paper boat.
I can show you.
So that would
easy.
I might have to get you to show me. Actually, those were a neat idea because you had your cards sitting in them
Yeah.
too, so they stood up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think your cards get taken because of that. Because when I was getting around late at
They're
night,
vertical, right?
yeah.
They're
So I think
standing
everyone
up.
was grabbing them and putting them in their pockets.
Who
so.
knows? Some stickers in there, some cards. You know, it's the hustle is real.
Oh yeah, well. Also off to the side, you could see like the Pillow Fight had the 3D glasses, and Aaron
Very
McDonald
smart.
had those drop cards, and all the different QR codes, and the positioning of the posters around the hotel. I love
It's
it.
a lot. The
I love
fine
it.
art.
Yes.
The fine art of promoting up the walls.
It's a unique situation where everyone's trying to be unique, but there's no real consistency other than like you probably have something paper that you're going to put on a wall and something hand sized that somebody can take with them. That's pretty much the only restriction.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
So what are people going to be walking into for your show? Are you singer, songwriter?
Yeah, I've been trying out 17 different elevator pitches this last day or two.
Mm-hmm.
So my music journey has been a very long one, and I've always I'm one of those artists that wants it all. So I have, the family, and I have the kids, and I have the dogs, and I have all that stuff.
Yes.
But I cut my teeth, paid my dues, as they say, if over a span of about 10 years living in Alberta. And then I returned home permanently, home to Nova Scotia in 2000, around 2010, and took that break in geography to kind of get serious about the songwriting side of things. So I've been, playing music kind of in the Cape Breton troubadour style for 20 years. But I had a collection of songs and really wanted to try to do a good job recording them. So that led to an EP and then a full-length record, another full-length, and then this is my third that's coming. So anyway, it's a long, drawn-out answer. But I've always tried to maintain some pretty consistent recording and album cycles. But lots of family demands and stuff, I haven't been able to really tour regionally. I play a ton of shows around Halifax, come home to Cape Breton and play and just do as much as I can. But my time is opening up. And just because my kids are getting older and things are just a little less complex. So the music is still compelling me to, keep going. And over the last couple of years, I've been playing more to the industry side of things because I can deliver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I've never wanted to overpromise and under-deliver. But now that I have a little time and space to, kind of grow the business side of music and do a little bit more touring and what have you, it makes it exciting. So
it's
it's fun.
I can tell just from the little bit that we interacted, just in the hall. It's only been like 5 minutes or so, but you're also. We have an artist and a media person here are actually fans that are enjoying the weekend. And I similarly have kids, and now that they're getting older and stuff, I have time that's freeing up. So that's where the podcast comes from. So there's a lot of parallels.
So things bloom in a different way when you have more time, and I have such respect for the level of talent and creativity in the creative community here in Nova Scotia. Like, I just love it. So I carefully craft songs and recordings, and that is so dear to me. But now that I'm able to spend a little bit more time engaging with the industry, I love what's happening, right? Yeah. So last year, I got my first Music Nova Scotia nomination for a record that came out during pandemia, and first ECMA nomination. I'm like, woo, this is great. I know the recordings are good, but it's nice to be able to be a little less fringy and a little more in the scene. And I'm just a consummate songwriter. I walk around and collect impressions that life gives us all and turn them into tunes, and everyone is as dear as the next. I would be kind of in the contemporary roots, Americana end of things. So
being a Cape Breton-based person, you probably know some of the people we just had on recently, like Aaron McDonald and Steve McIntyre. And
love those guys.
Well, everyone knows Elise Aaron.
Yeah. So and Elise is doing great.
I'm
a big fan of her.
As somebody that's watching what's going on, like you just said, she's really good at handling all of her social media and engaging really with everybody too. Yeah. So she's really good. She's got her eye on the she's got her eye on the prize. Oh,
That's awesome. And and I mean, growing up in Cape Breton is music is everywhere. It's lovely to see our Cape Breton artists, getting some traction. And I
need a field correspondent. I need a Cape Breton-based field correspondent for the podcast, because especially where we're saying East Coast DNA, it's a play on our names because it's Darcy and Andrew.
Yep.
But it really is consistent, especially since I've been covering stuff for where we're going to Sydney and it's Nova Scotia artists. But it is consistent even outside of that. Everyone always said, "Oh, I play with this person that's from Cape Breton, so they know how to play guitar, drums, and sing." Yeah, it's just a given. Everybody says it.
Yeah.
And they don't even think that it sounds funny and we all agree. But I just noticed how it repeats all the time. Like, what if anybody that's never been to Cape Breton wonders what they mean by that?
Yeah, like, what is going on up there? What is going on up there? You know, I grew up in Richmond County, so definitely like less kind of Scottish, more French. You know, a little dirtier down there. You know, it was a wonderful place to grow up, but even there's hyper regionality to styles of music just on the island, right? So where we grew up, there was like kind of this almost like the singer-songwriter was lauded. Like we had a few local guys that were just amazing songwriters, and you know their tunes are everywhere. People think they're Cape Breton classics, but they were actually written by real people who are still walking around. You know, Roger Stone, Arnold Sampson, these guys. So they would be about half a generation ahead of me, and I just grew up listening to them.
Yep.
And that's the style kind of in our neck of the woods is kind of it's a combination of country, Cape Breton songcraft, a la John Allen Cameron, like that kind of stuff. And then there's bluegrass kind of mixed in. And,
the history of the region really does develop it.
And then I just learned by watching when I was little. So even now, like as a grown woman, the songs that I write and the style and the arrangements are still so influenced by that. Like I can hear it.
It's in your DNA.
It's in my DNA. So it's definitely there is Cape Breton sauce all over every new tune. It's just always there,
Yeah.
Or, I'm setting up recording sessions and I'm like, geez, gotta have a fiddle in the band, not on all the songs, but so I've had lots of fun refining my sound, right? So it's definitely folk rock, in that kind of area, but really, really influenced by definitely by growing up in Cape Breton.
Yeah. And were you out last night at all for some of the showcases?
I was out hard.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Did you find this is more of I don't even know if any of the Music Nova Scotia people have any time at this moment to be watching any of this stuff, but that's why I'm not bothering them with the question.
Yeah.
I know that historically they had booked the stages to kind of be almost like each venue was a genre, or like there was genre specific stages. Yeah. And I had made comments on this podcast in some of our previous episodes that when we were there last year, I was making assumptions based on the history of that, and then realized after, like, oh, it's a little bit more blended than I thought.
It's definitely, it's blendy.
But this year, I noticed, especially from doing some pre-interviews and looking to see when people were showcasing, that there was a lot of exactly that Americana or folk, or I personally don't like using Americana.
I know. I wish we had a better word.
Yeah.
I use North Americana sometimes. Yeah. Canadiana sometimes, but that...
We'll just say Cape Breton. We know what it means.
Cape Breton, yeah. Cape Breton.
Yeah.
Cape Breton-esque.
Yes.
Tunes.
It's definitely been a different vibe this year, but I'm having a blast, and I really do feel like... I don't know if it's because we're in Sydney, but I definitely feel like this year they blend it more because, like I was saying, the singer-songwriter stages or the Americana stages... Yeah. They seem to be the earlier part of the evening where people were sitting down. Maybe they just had a bite to eat and they want a beer, or maybe they're just starting to get out in a group and socialize after a busy day of meetings.
Yeah.
And it was getting people into a good, loose mood and then switching over to some of the rap and hip hop on the same stages. I'm curious, were you in any of those situations?
Yeah, I was.
So... It's kind of cool, right? Like
I freaking love it.
Because then you get exposed to stuff that you wouldn't normally go to your way to see.
Last night I was just excited to be here, and I'll say honestly, for a couple hours, I wasn't my 40-something self. I was my 20-something self.
Oh yeah.
And I am paying for that today.
Yeah,
However, I had a great time. But I think it's because we're in Sydney for sure. And I love that the venues are very close to each other. So everybody's hopping. So you can see what you like. And you can watch a couple songs and then go down the road and, so that's all fine. But I loved, I was at Daniel's for the better part of the evening.
Last night.
And and it was packed to the gills and I was kind of going in and out. But it was wonderful to see an act like Aaron McDonald that is very, kind of country blues, super tight, everybody's loving it. And then within an hour and a half, we're watching Lavender, who is an entirely different style. But I love the blendy stuff because it shows that, especially it's just, Nova Scotia music is not a one-trick pony. Like, the diversity and the talent across all the genres is amazing, and it's good for us to see what are the kids doing, right? What is, what's the hip-hop community doing? What is, this, there's a huge, like, R&B, pop chunk of artists that are doing amazing things, and I love the blend, right? It's good for us.
I also like the, just before you came in, we had Tim and Brandon from Good Dear Good.
Yeah.
But I was kind of talking that Tim ended up playing for somebody else earlier in the day. And I always like these events to see who's on stage with the person you're going to see, like who they brought in for their showcase. So that's always fun. I don't know if you would have noticed when Lavender was playing, her backup was Adam Warren. So like that was cool to see.
It's very, very cool.
Because I want to, honestly, if Adam's probably not listening to this, but if he does happen to listen to it, they might be down today. But I can't catch everything, and I wanted to catch his set, and I didn't.
Yeah.
But then at least I got to see him there.
See him do his thing, right?
Same as the 5-minute pitches, so I'll be into those later too. So
I really love it, and I love seeing, that everyone's collaborating on recordings and projects and sharing resources and and talents across, what everyone is working on. But it's really nice to see it live, right? And to see, that everybody is kind of switching out and doing different things. My showcase is solo tonight, but where would we be without without our collab community, right? Like I can't make recordings unless I have a drummer, unless I have all the things I need, and it's wonderful to see it. That's my phone ringing. That sucks.
Yes. Do you want to end this and you can get your phone and you're welcome to hang out for a little bit?
Please stop ringing. We're doing a podcast interview, for God's sakes.
Why aren't they watching it?
It's my mom.
She wants to say hi.
She wants to say hi. Listen, I gave my mom an advance copy of my brand new record.
Yep.
It's called Ground Rush, and it's about time, bucking up against time, thinking you're going to win, all around that kind of time passing too quickly and all those things. And I love the record. I think it's some of the best work I've ever done. So I give it to my mom. She calls me last night. Well, I listened to it, she says, because she's Acadian. Mm-hmm. And I find there's too much music on it. True story. So I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
What do you mean, Mom? So she finds that there is too much instrumentation in some of the songs, because what she loves is when I am in a church somewhere just singing with me and my guitar so she can hear me.
That's a mom thing.
Oh, man. So I'm going to make a record for my mom one of these days and just take everything out and just have one instrument. But despite what my mom says, people are really liking it.
When
so
is
I'm
this
excited.
out? For everyone
it's
else
out
to hear.
for reals. I have some advanced copies here with me this week because it's. I might do a vinyl press. It's super expensive, so I'm thinking about it. But
at least it's an option right now. Earlier in the year, there was a vinyl shortage globally, so
love me some good vinyl.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I have some advanced copies. But we're doing. It'll officially be released on November 25th.
Okay, that's soon.
On all the streamers and all the platforms, and I'm doing a release run November 26th in my hometown in St.
Cool.
Peters, December 1st at the Carlton, and December 3rd at the Muse in Fredericton.
Awesome.
So doing a lucky 3.
And
then I'll do some feature tracks and share some music videos and stuff.
That's
of
a decent spread for 3 shows. That's like you're getting a little traction around the Maritime.
Yeah,
so.
I'm putting my big girl pants on, going to New Brunswick. It's
Awesome.
exciting.
While you're in New Brunswick, this is going to be a shameless little thing. I'm sure not everyone listening is going to be interested in this part, but following Music Week, this podcast where we're East Coast DNA, we're hoping to cover some bands for some of the other regions other than Nova Scotia, which we had touched on in the past, but we went Nova Scotia heavy lately.
Yeah.
So if you come across any new friends while you're in New Brunswick, or if anyone's checking up on you by watching this later, reach out to the podcast. So we have a New Brunswick band and a Newfoundland band lined up.
Good.
But we're definitely planning on expanding it back out to the other provinces
again.
More
regional stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
the attention was always East Coast.
Yeah.
It's just there's so many people right now that are doing really, really good stuff that like we've had people coming to us lately, so we haven't had to reach out and look for anything. So and that's
a good problem to have.
Well, it can be overwhelming, but I honestly have not wanted to say no to anybody, and there's not too many people that I actually just said, well, like I can't. And we've just been either working it out, getting it done in advance, doing things like this, or in some case we're gonna have to catch up with some people later. And no hard feelings for anyone listening that I know you couldn't make it because you were in sessions or had to perform, but that's normal.
Darcy will get to you.
Yes.
He will do it.
Absolutely.
He will do it. I'm so excited to be here. I hope lots of people come to the Crown Moose tonight.
Yes.
9:45. I'm going to play half hour of my greatest hits. And
that sounds to me like it's a good solid set.
It's going to be friggin' solid.
If you say you've been doing it for a while and you got half hour to
I've been
showcase.
Doing this a long time. So I'm going to distill a lot into half an hour. So, come and hang out. I will play you my singular brand of renegade momfolk for struggling optimists.
And do you happen to know who's playing before you, just off the top? I'm thinking that anybody that's listening should go early.
Yeah, I think it's a sub, Sylvie Marie.
Okay.
I think somebody. Yes. I think the lineup changed slightly.
That's why I'm asking, because I noticed it had pen marks on it there.
And she's like, they just called me. So I think she's stepping in for maybe somebody that couldn't make it. I forget who's on first. And then also Hearts of Kin, those lovely sweeties.
Oh, yes. We just had them on here, too, in one of our lead-ups. Yes. Yeah. Excellent.
So I think, there's... I'm going to go on at 9:45, and then Sylvie's subbing in for her half hour, and then Hearts of Kin, I think, are at 11. So we'll be hanging out in the Moose for a little while tonight.
That sounds... I'm thinking that's one of the smaller ones. And last night, there were so many venues that, would have been, after the supper time, but before it was, too late, 3 of the, 5 main venues were at capacity, and you couldn't get anywhere. And I know Crown and Moose is probably the smallest for capacity. So if you want to have a good time, and somewhat earlier in the evening, too, go in, and good way to kick off the evening for sure.
It's going to be great.
And then after you get a full solid half hour of pure gold,
solid gold,
then you can see if there's anyone else worth watching for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And I will be, hitting the streets after the showcase and going to see lots of music myself. I've loved every show so far. Everyone's doing great.
I'm going to be looking for you later at the Vormir show. If anybody could see that poster in the background there, Megan's co-hosting some of these with me this weekend. So amazing. Everybody should come. That's the last show of the weekend because it's the 1:45 overnight tonight. So
yep, it's a big one.
You're going to have to be at that one. I don't even need to ask for you.
I'm going to do it. I'm just going to drink coffee all day. I'm going to power through, Darcy.
Oh,
that's what I'm going to do.
Another plug for somebody else out in the hallway here. The Red Bull girls are here with the backpacks.
They are here. I might tap
and they are free. I have one right here.
Are they cold?
They are ice cold. cans of Red Bull, and I encourage everybody to drink them all day so you can catch Andre Pettipas and Vormir at the last stages at the Mariner Ballroom tonight.
Can't wait.
And everyone's going to start the evening with Leona.
Yes, please do.
And end the evening with Andre and Megan. So I think I'm going to have a lot of friends with me tonight because that's what everybody's doing.
That's good. Lots of company.
Thanks for stopping by.
My pleasure, Darcy.
And if anyone is listening, I know that I told about 100 people that we would catch up. I had some technical issues yesterday, but now that we're back up and running, feel free to stop down. If I'm not answering the door, I'm probably 10 or 15 minutes away from answering the door. All right. Thanks, everyone.